There's a kind of silence that makes your heart race. Not because you're scared, but because you know what's coming could change everything. That night, I stood in front of my bedroom mirror, barely recognizing the woman staring back at me. My name is Elena Carter, and I wasn't the kind of person who did reckless things. At least, that's what I'd always told myself. But sometimes, curiosity doesn't knock gently. It breaks the door down. The message had come earlier that week, a simple question from someone I shouldn't have been talking to. Would you want to see how far you could really go? I'd stared at that text for nearly an hour before replying. And when I did, I just typed one word. Yes. Now, as the clock ticked closer to midnight, I was second-guessing everything. My hands trembled as I fixed the straps of my black dress, smoothing the fabric even though there wasn't a wrinkle in sight. The soft flicker of candlelight stretched shadows across the room, and every small movement, every breath, felt amplified. This wasn't about attraction, not really. It was about something deeper. A need to feel seen again. To feel something that wasn't routine or safe. I heard the sound before I saw him. Ethan, tall, quiet, and deliberate in every step, stood at the doorway. He didn't say a word at first. He just looked at me, not in a way that made me feel judged, but in a way that stripped away the layers I'd been hiding behind. You can still say no, he said softly. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. I don't want to. He nodded once, then closed the door behind him. The air between us shifted, heavy, electric, filled with unspoken questions. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. Ethan moved closer, stopping just close enough for me to feel the warmth radiating off him. He lifted a hand and brushed a loose strand of hair behind my ear. It wasn't a bold touch, it was careful, deliberate. But it made my breath catch. You've been thinking about this, he murmured. I didn't deny it. I couldn't. He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that knows more than it should. Then stop thinking. And that's when everything inside me shifted. It wasn't about control or surrender, it was about letting go of everything that held me back. We stood like that for what felt like forever. The candles flickered. My mind raced with every reason why this was wrong, why I should walk away. But the truth was, I didn't want to. I wanted to step into the unknown, even if just for one night. When he finally reached for my hand, it felt like gravity itself changed direction. He led me gently toward the center of the room. Every step echoed louder than it should have. Every heartbeat sounded like a drum in my chest. He stopped and looked down at me. Do you trust me? I hesitated. Then nodded. That was all he needed. The rest of the night wasn't wild or reckless the way I imagined it might be. It was something else entirely, quiet, intense, layered with emotion I hadn't expected. The kind that doesn't fade when the lights go out. At one point, I closed my eyes and felt his hands trace slow patterns across my shoulders, not demanding, just grounding. Every touch told me to breathe, to stop running from myself. And for the first time in a long time, I did. It wasn't about Ethan, not really. It was about what he made me face, the part of myself that wanted to be brave, to be open, to stop pretending I didn't crave more from life. When I finally opened my eyes again, he was watching me. There was no smirk, no arrogance, just quiet understanding. Sometimes, he whispered, we don't find freedom by holding back. We find it when we let go. After he left, I sat on the edge of my bed, tracing the imprint of his touch against my skin. The room was silent again, but it wasn't the same silence as before. It was fuller, like something inside me had finally woken up. Later, I walked to the door and rested my hand against it. The same door I'd opened hours ago. The same one that changed how I saw myself. I smiled, just barely. Maybe I hadn't crossed a line. Maybe I'd just finally stopped pretending there wasn't one. And maybe, just maybe, that was what I needed all along.